Hey guys, so today I just want to go over some Super Smash Bros. Ultimate speculation. I just want to talk about a couple characters that I'm going to call them missing characters. Characters that I felt should be in the game in some form, or have been in the game in some form in the past, and they are mysteriously absent from everything we've seen for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate so far. All the gameplay footage and the directs and information we have, so far these characters are just missing. Now of course there's lots of characters that we haven't seen yet, but these characters either have been in a past Smash game, like they're in Smash 4 in some way, or they're in Brawl, or some other Smash game, or there's something that maybe represented them, like an alternate costume or something that isn't here now, or they've been kind of replaced by something. Maybe they were an assist trophy, but now we have another assist trophy that sort of takes their spot. These characters just are mysteriously absent, and it's just kind of strange. Where are they in the game? I feel like if they're not where they usually are, if Sakurai decided to change the game, then they must be somewhere in some other form. Now at this point I don't expect us to get too many more characters added to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I feel like we're getting towards the end here, and I've thought of 5 characters that fit this mysteriously missing quality. Perhaps I'm missing some, so if you think of any more, let me know in the comments. Anyway, so I've thought of 5, and I don't expect all of them to become playable fighters. They might be in the game in some other form besides being playable. They also may have been, taken away from whatever their usual spot was, say if they were in a past Smash game, or if there's some spot that they should be and they're not for some reason. Maybe they were taken off to be held back as a potential DLC character. I go over lots of leaks, obviously, so I've seen some of these characters appear in a few fairly credible ones over the course of speculation, but it just feels like towards the end here we're not going to get that many more fighters, so where are these guys? Where are they going to show up in the game? And if they were already somewhere, there's already a spot that could have filled them really nicely, it's just strange they're not there. So I'm going to go over who these oddly missing fighters are, what their role used to be in a past Smash game, if they were in a past Smash game, or where I suspect they should be and they mysteriously aren't. And then I'm going to go over what they might be, either a playable fighter or like an Echo fighter, or possibly a boss or just a trophy. They could really be anything, but I'm going to go over all those things for each of these fighters. So these 5 suspiciously absent characters are Waddle Dee, Dixie Kong, Skull Kid, Shadow, and Black Knight. Now there's lots of other characters that are, not in the game yet in any form, but they either haven't been in the game in some form in the past, or, they could just be an assist trophy. Obviously some of these guys could too, but some of them just feel like they've either been replaced or they're missing from where they should be, whereas the other characters that we haven't seen, like let's say a Rhythm Heaven rep or Isaac or anybody really, there's nothing in the game yet that I feel like they should be there and we haven't seen it. They're just characters we haven't seen yet, whereas these other 5 are characters where I've seen something in the game either in the past where they are and now they aren't, so they're, Sakurai's made a change there, or we've seen something new in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate where I'd suspect to see these characters, and I haven't. So first up is Waddle Dee, and Waddle Dee, or Bandana Waddle Dee, or Bandana Dee, whatever you want to call him, he's a really popular character. A lot of people really want Waddle Dee. I made a whole video talking about, all the reasons he's fairly likely a while back, and he's one of Japan's most wanted characters. And he's popular in the West as well. So why is he just missing from everything King Dedede so far? Now, we haven't seen King Dedede actually playable, like he's not in the demo or anything, so we have to go off of what little footage we have, but so far, he's still not a character King Dedede throws, which was something that was taken out in Smash 4, so it's not that suspicious, but King Dedede, when he comes onto the stage, he's usually carried by Waddle Dees, and we haven't seen his stage entrance yet, so it's a little suspicious we haven't seen that. The other suspicious thing is King Dedede has a new Final Smash, which is Masked Dedede. And in the game that's from, in the background is Bandana Waddle Dee sitting in the audience. And Sakurai is a real stickler for details like that, and in the Final Smash, we can see the background and there's no Bandana Dee there. Why isn't he there? Why isn't he watching? It seems like a little touch Sakurai would add if that was the right spot to put him in, but Sakurai held back. So is Bandana Waddle Dee playable? Is he maybe a potential DLC character? Or is he just going to be like maybe a one-player mode enemy as a typical Waddle Dee? Maybe Sakurai just decided not to put him in. I'm not sure, but it's really suspicious he hasn't been shown yet. Next up is Dixie Kong, and Dixie Kong is really strange to have not been in Smash yet. She almost made it in for Super Smash Bros. Brawl, actually. It was originally going to be like a duo character with Diddy Kong, which would have really represented Donkey Kong Country too well. But she was held back, and we still haven't seen her 2 games later. She's one of the older, more prominent female protagonist characters that Nintendo has, so it's very strange that we haven't seen her as a playable fighter yet. I really feel like if Dixie Kong's in the game, if, you know, she's in the game in a major role anyway, she'd be a playable fighter. And she has the chance to be an Echo fighter too, so that just seems like an easy in. So here's where she's missing from. Basically, usually Diddy Kong has an alternate costume that's Dixie Kong colored. Now, admittedly, we haven't seen Diddy Kong in like the Super Smash Bros. Demo. We've only seen, you know, a small bit of footage from him and some pictures on like the website. So we haven't been able to look at all his alternate costumes, but his Dixie Kong costume still hasn't been seen yet. Samus and Ike were both in the demo, and we could see all their alternate costumes. And the Dark Samus costume and the Chrom costume were mysteriously missing from them before we got Dark Samus and Chrom. So it's very suspicious that we haven't seen the Dixie Kong Diddy alt costume yet, especially when they were so upfront about showing us all of Samus's costumes and all of Ike's costumes right in the demo and leaving those two mysteriously absent. Diddy Kong also appears to be missing his tail attack. So why would Sakurai make that change? There's really no reason to do it unless he was, you know, gearing up for Dixie Kong as an Echo fighter of Diddy. You'd have to get rid of the tail because Dixie Kong doesn't have a tail. Now, she could use her hair or something instead, and I do think if she was in the game, she would have minor tweaks like that even as an Echo fighter, but it's very suspicious you would change something like that about Diddy Kong, and the only thing I can really think of is it's because Dixie Kong's in the game in some way. So could she be an Echo fighter? I know a lot of people are not super happy with that. They think there's a lot more she could do on her own, and it's true. She has a lot of unique qualities, especially using her hair to attack, but it is possible. We've seen some other Echo fighters have, you know, a few differences. Chrom, for instance, has like Ike's up B despite being a Roy Echo. So Dixie could kind of have like maybe Donkey Kong's up B, but use her hair instead of, you know, Donkey Kong uses like his whole body to spin. It could happen that she's a Diddy Kong Echo in this way. Personally, I'd want her to be, you know, her own fighter, and maybe she's held off for DLC to be her own fighter, and maybe they're just getting rid of Diddy's tail attack to kind of use him as like a base model for Dixie. I don't know, but if she could get in the game as an Echo fighter, I'd rather have that than have her not be in the game at all once again. It just feels like she's way overdue. She's probably the most overdue prominent Nintendo icon character, in my opinion. Next is Skull Kid. Skull Kid's a former assist trophy that we haven't seen yet. Now, there's quite a few of those left, and we're supposedly getting over 50 assist trophies in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, so I think we need like 11 of them to return to hit that mark. Obviously, we'll probably get a few more brand new ones, but a bunch of those former ones that we haven't seen yet, I do believe will show up. However, Skull Kid has kind of a replacement assist trophy. You see, the Moon from Majora's Mask is now an assist trophy, and it's a little suspicious that Skull Kid doesn't like appear and then call down the moon. There's also the Wandering Mushroom item from Earthbound that can be used to kind of do what Skull Kid used to do, which was invert the controls of the character. Like when you press right, you go left. That was something Skull Kid could do as an assist trophy, and now we have an item that does it. Skull Kid's a very popular character. I've done a whole video on him, and it's just really strange that you would cut him. It's possible, again, that he comes back as one of those missing assist trophies, but there is this whole thing with basically Zelda tends to get a single rep from each iteration of the Zelda series as an assist trophy. Like, so we have Midna for Twilight Princess. We have Girahim for Skyward Sword. We have the Moon for Majora's Mask. We haven't seen Tingle yet, but Tingle's also on Great Bay. Admittedly, so is the Moon, but that might be enough to represent him. Tingle also always represented Wind Waker and not Majora's Mask. So it does feel like Skull Kid's just being replaced by this Moon assist trophy, and that's, again, very strange to do that with a character that's so popular and one that could fit within that assist trophy. You know, Skull Kid could pop out and then just call down the Moon. It could have been one full assist trophy like that. So with such a popular character being missing from this game so far, he has to be somewhere, and there's really only two places I can think of. Either he's a playable fighter and potentially held off until DLC. Could be on the base roster, but he could be held off for DLC as a playable fighter. That might have been why Sakurai decided to cut him. Or he could be a boss. Now, we do know there's bosses in this game. We know Dracula's a boss, and we know Rathalos is a boss. So it's possible that Skull Kid, you know, transforming into like Majora's Wrath or something, could be a boss in some sort of one-player mode. Perhaps Spirit Mode is that one-player mode. That's like a hypothetical mode people are guessing at that blurred mode was. And it's possible Skull Kid is a boss in that mode somewhere. So another missing former assist trophy character is Shadow the Hedgehog. Shadow appears to have been replaced by Knuckles. Knuckles is our new Sonic the Hedgehog assist trophy character, and we've really only ever gotten one assist trophy per third-party series. So while it's possible Shadow could return as, just another assist trophy again, it's also possible he's been moved to somewhere else in the game. Shadow obviously has basically the same body type as Sonic, and we have Echo Fighters this time. So a lot of people are guessing Shadow might be an Echo Fighter. He seems like one of our most likely Echo Fighters, probably second only to Ken, because Verjoben leaked Ken, and we've seen the Ken image leak that seems pretty legit. Now, Shadow could be some sort of boss fighter. He's kind of a bad guy like that in some way, but I sort of doubt it. It's also possible that he's just been completely cut from the game and just replaced by Knuckles. That could be, a choice for him, but since he just has Sonic's body type and Echo Fighters seem to be, a pretty prominent part of this game, it just feels like that's the best spot for Shadow, and I kind of suspect that's where he's at. The final seemingly missing character is Black Knight. Now, Black Knight was assumed to be in the background of Castle Siege before, and he appears to be replaced by a different, just kind of generic enemy. Now, this isn't 100% confirmed that it was ever Black Knight in the background, so this might just be an update to the stage that doesn't really point to him at all, but it could possibly do that. He's also potentially an Ike Echo. It's a little strange if we got another Fire Emblem character when people were already complaining about how many we had when Corrin got in the game as a DLC character in Smash 4, but it could happen as Ike and Black Knight were trained by the same master, and it just seems like, they could potentially use the same moves and it could fit. However, Ike's body type would be not the perfect fit for Black Knight, who would have to be quite a bit bigger in his bulky armor. Another good spot for Black Knight, though, is as a boss character in that, potential one-player mode we might get with boss characters. He'd make a good boss character for all the Fire Emblem characters, and maybe he was taken out of Castle Siege for a better role, a more front and center role as a boss in some sort of one-player mode. It's also possible he's just not in the game at all, or just like a trophy or something, not even an assist trophy, just a regular trophy or sticker, whatever we collect in this game. Who knows, but he is kind of the weakest argument, I feel like, but he is another character that is mysteriously absent from where they used to be in the game. Now, there are plenty of characters that haven't shown up for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate yet. Lots of, say, past assist trophy characters like Isaac, Dylan, Ray from Custom Robo, who, could be playable or in the game in some form, or even held off for DLC or something. But, they're not mysteriously missing in the way these other 5 are. There's not like a spot that I feel like they need to be in that they're just not filling right now that we've seen. There's also, Pokeball Pokemon we haven't seen, like, say, Gardevoir, who I was talking about before, very popular Pokemon, but Gardevoir could just come back as a Pokeball Pokemon again, or it could just be in some background of the Pokemon stages or something somewhere. Who knows, really? But they're not exactly like these characters. So these 5 that I just talked about either have some spot in the game where they used to be, or they used to be represented in some way, and it's been changed this time, and it's just kind of strange that Sakurai would go out of his way to make these changes and no longer represent these characters, in these specific ways that we've seen them, be absent from. So what do you guys think? Do you think these characters are going to be potentially playable? Do you think some of them are maybe held off for DLC? Or do you think they're just going to show up maybe as assist trophies, or do you think potentially like bosses or something? Let me know what you think. And is there any other missing characters that I forgot? Obviously, there's lots of characters, like I said, that haven't shown up for the game, but are there any characters that, like, there's something that we've already seen that, they should be there, but they're just not, or something from the past that's been changed that I missed and that character is now gone? Let me know in the comments. So once again, thank you guys for all the subscribes, all the likes. It really helps out the channel. So if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and do so, or like the video, or leave a comment, whatever you want. Until next time, have a good one.